Hello. Welcome back to Adderclan. If this is your first time here, you might want to watch the prior episodes. But basically, I play a year in ClanGen and draw my cats at the end of it and talk about how they're doing. Now, this year, I have to say, was quite full of drama, so let's dive right into the deaths. Starting with Glintchaser, he died early on in the year at 26 minutes old due to a rogue attack that took the lives of him and their medicine cat. We'll get into who the rogues were trying to kill in just a bit, though. In a short time he was around, he was daydreaming about battles and giving advice to Lavender Stripe about being more bloodthirsty. I think he had gotten a little annoying, as Chaffinch was ignoring him and Loudstar was giving him an advice, which probably fell on deaf ears. The last thing he did before he died was realize that Silent Clash, a cat who now has a badly twisted leg, has gone through rough things. Which, no shit, Sherlock, she probably has it roughest in the clan. But Glentracer was never too bright, which is why he constantly runs the dark forest, unable to stop. Yeah, I didn't have much of an idea for what to design Glenchaser as, so I just leaned into the chaser part of his name. Hell didn't have a lot going on this year. He only lived 2 moons and died at the age of 59 moons old. But on moon 13, he went out with Silent Clash. He got a vision of a broken beehive and honey oozing from it, and it was basically an obvious omen of his death, so he was stressed the rest of his life, to say the least. Now, as for why the rogues killed 2 out of 3 of the most important cats is because the rogue group from the year 1 that was hired from Loudstar to kill Shortbite, they keep getting nightmares of Shortbite, who convince them that they're cursed and they must right their wrongs. And so the rogues help her take down Loudstar's reign by causing any harm to any clan cats they come across. Shortbite is a little sad Honey Howl got caught in the crossfire, but the Dark Forest is warping her mind, and she views it as necessary to rip everything away from Loudstar. Now on to Claycurl. Claycurl was kind of having a meh year up until Moon 15 when, out on a patrol with Forge Spots, they saw a Python Clan cat up in a tree, and then they were ambushed by a dog that ended up killing him. He was getting close with Lavender Stripe, getting stuck up in a tree with him for hours, and Lavender Stripe thinking he's charming, so it's a bit sad we didn't get Lavender Curl, but the rest of the year has plenty of ship fuel. Other than that, he refused to follow the deputy's orders due to his old morals, and he was not getting along well with Loudstar, who let him down on something, and he got into it with Forge Spots not telling him he had a feather stuck in his face, which is so petty, but thankfully his brother Mormark was nice to him when he was still around. Moving on to Chafin, she left camp and was found dead on Moon 17 at 125 moons old, and I'm saying she left the camp to talk to her old girl group, thinking the murders were done to get back to her, only to be killed by her former friends. Now let me tell you, I was so sad when this granny passed away. She was so nice to Forge Spots and Mormark and was building up Speckle's confidence to help him confess his feelings. She was just this reliable grandma. She also had this tail injury from a fox, and since Honey Howl was dead, I'm surprised she didn't die. But as soon as she healed from that, she was found dead, which sucks. But that's about it for Chaffinch, unfortunately. Finally, in the Dark Forest, we have Lavender Strip, who died in the last moon while out on a solo patrol due to rogues. And on the same moon, and one of his kids that got attacked by rogues while on patrol, so I'm going to say that his body was being desecrated by the rogue group, and his daughter rushed in ahead of her mentor to save the body, but was badly injured. Up until that point, Lavender Strip was having a great year, and in fact, he had such a great year that he decided to have a litter of 5 kids. I had unmated cats on, so it was a really surprise when he gave birth to them, so I'm going to just say that he's a trans male, and that's how it happened. In a litter of 5 kids, he also has a new mate, Voidwalker. They got together on Moon 23 and went on a date where they met a cat named Bluffbud. And they were a really odd couple. I wasn't really expecting a pretty boy to go out with a tough girl. But I liked the pair, and I think they bonded over the kids Lavender Strip had. Basically, the whole clan was parenting them with how many they were. I am sad Lavender Strip died. I had no doubt he could have been deputy once the old one retires. He had a good relationship with Loudstar, with her letting him share all his worries about his kits, as one was born with a permanent condition and a propensity for trouble, and just the amount of them made him real stressed, since it seems Mormark really doesn't do much with the kits compared to everyone else. Much bad on you, Mormark, you better shape up, but thankfully the rest of the clan helped out. But yeah, that's Lavender Stripe. Moving on to the living cats, you have both the leader and deputy who are mates, Speckle and Loudstar. Though Loudstar only has a smidge of love for Speckle, while surprisingly Speckle's love is leagues higher. Like, what is going on here? Say right now that Loudstar made Speckle deputy because he loved her so much, and agreed to be mates later on to solidify his loyalty to her. Now, Loudstar is 137 moons old, and starting off the year, she gives giving Glintchaser some advice and giving Lavender Strip a second chance on something. You know, being a normal leader and everything. and was completely fine until shit hit the fan with Glenchaser and Honey Howl's death. Right after that, she was wondering if all the kitty pet life is so bad. Like, girl, please. But later she was making vows to protect her clan and getting her head in the game, and bonding with her former apprentice Board Spot, so she was snapping out of it. She now sees Board Spots as part of the family, and she confided in her niece Beck about some of her worries about all the rogues lurking around, and how she thinks the clan is swearing against her and more as the incidents keep happening, as if someone is sabotaging her. However, she ended up taking her rage out on an apprentice who accidentally crossed the border, and she chased him out of the territory until he hid behind the mentor. Which, how traumatizing for that poor apprentice. Other than this apprentice incident, she has been pretty chill, and she only started to chill out when Lavender kids were born. She was sunbathing and spending time with them, and she really likes kits, with how she literally argued with you, Speckle, over the kits the moon they got together. She definitely wants to be a mom. Speaking of you, Speckle, he's 107 moons old and is afraid of having kids due to how old Loudstar is. Because he really loves her. Like, that bar is all the way in the green. He is a certified simp for Loudstar, but he does like kits and would want to have them. But he puts Loudstar first and also wants to deal with the rogues. Now he's been struggling being deputy. He's been feeling overworked and it is doing a good job though. And is looking forward to successful hunts and being an everyman, but not much else to him this year, except when Loudstar chose as a new deputy, she didn't know if Glenchaser would approve, but given the fact Glenchaser was glaring at you, Speckle, from the Dark Forest, I don't think Glenchaser improves. In fact, they were upset by their death, so there's potentially drama there. On to Linkspaw, our medicine kit apprentice. She's 6 moons old and childish, and has a connection to StarClan. She's currently grieving her dad, and she chose the path of being a medicine cat, despite being a wild child, is because she's hoping to bring back StarClan. She's my favorite out of the litter, and she cannot stop despite having raspy lungs. She was always caught climbing high and being rambunctious, and she once broke out of camp. Funnily enough as well, Lynx was arguing and complaining about you, Speckle, and the odds started an ugly rumor on the same moon she was diagnosed with raspy lungs and snuck out of camp. So I'm going to say that you, Speckle, caught her outside of camp, tried to lecture her, and Link was really mad about it, and Loudstar heard of it, of course, because that's just a funny little story. Now for our new face, Minnow. She is 87 moons old, a compassionate she-cat, and an injured loner found by Voidwalker and Silent Clash on Moon 16. They were injured from a camp bite and managed to heal up well, and was quick to wonder what Voidwalker thinks about mates, and let me tell you, girl is a lesbian. She has a complicated romance with Voidwalker not really returning love, and because when I put him out on patrol, Minnow was asking for reassurance from Voidwalker, and Voidwalker would just not answer, and I felt so bad for Minnow. Now, Minnow also really likes kits. She was feeling excited the kits became 1 moon old and began to toddle around camp, and would like to watch over them. And when the boar kit was born, she congratulated the kit simply for being born, which is both funny and adorable. Yeah, this is Minnow, and that's about it about our gal. On to Voidwalker, who is 48 moons old and currently grieving her dead husband. Yay! But other than that, she's been having it rough, and on the moon, Flint and Honey died, she felt a sense of dread, knowing it's not the last life the rogues would take deep down. But she's been trying to push through, and was showing off her battle moves and complimenting others' moves. She had hoped being strong would prevent more tragedies, but unfortunately it did not. She also spent part of the year getting close to Silent Clash, which is a ship I originally had, since they're daring and confident. But she can choose who she wants. But for now, Silent Clash and her are good friends who have a mutual crush on each other. To a happy couple of Mormark, who's 30 moons old, and Borch Spots, who's 26 moons old, and currently Mormark is grieving the loss of his good pal Lavender Stripe, and Borch Spots is comforting him, but she feels stressed with how many cats are currently leaning on her, as most of Lavender Stripe's kids view her as mom. As she got together with Mormark, the moon, Lavender Stripe announced his kids. After a failed confession from Borch Spots prior, I'm kinda side-eyeing Mormark for that, but there wasn't any cheating. Most of the cats treat him normally, so I think Mark needed some time to decide who he wanted to be with. I'll also note, most of this year, Mark stepped in to be temporary medicine cat, so the rest of the clan wouldn't die. He struggles a lot. He wanted to care for the rest of the clan, which may be why he was distant with his kits. He was basically a med cat and self-training, and only going off of what the rest of the clan knew. Only now, as an actual apprentice, he was able to go back to being a warrior. He was gifted dried herbs from Silent Clash, his friend, to remember this phase of his life, though he would rather forget it. Board Spots has been bending the rules a bit. If you see the collar around her neck, she's been hanging around some kitty pets, trying to clear her mind after witnessing Clay Curl's death. Her mind has changed about them. She finds them cool, hence why she invited her pal Starfish. She also has a new apprentice Snakepaw, and she's really excited about it. Speaking of Starfish, here he is. He's 21 moons old and is currently has yellow cough, and I forgot to draw him sick. Oops. But he's a sick boy that got kicked out of his two-leg place and instantly went to his friend hoping for shelter. And with four spots begging him to join, Loudstar begrudgingly allowed it, not wanting to shake up the clan war at the time. He joined on Moon 23 and is nervous, but he's a clever and a great speaker. But there's not much to him right now, so that's our kitty pet boy. On to apprentices, here's Elkpaw, a 6-moon-old Tom who's strict and a mossball hunter. Despite his strictness, he was playing pranks on Starfish, the sick cat of all cats, like, how mean? He's also the only son of Lavender Strip and was apprenticed his father watched in pride, but now that his dad's gone, he's become a stickler for the rules, thinking that if his father was more carefree attitude is what got him killed. Apprenticed to Voidwalker, and it's going well. They chase up a small dog together, and he's happy with getting to know his cool stepmom more and to train with her since Voidwalker's kind of aggressive and cool cat. Is 6 moons old, and she's a nervous baby, but confident and quick with words. And I swear there must have been a prank war because she was playing pranks on Bearpaw, and Bearpaw is playing pranks on Minnow. How silly. But after the loss of her dad, she became more nervous and before being about being a warrior. But her mentor, Spots, is such a good mom and is trying to build up her confidence. On the first patrol, they ran into a kitty pet and had to help them, which is cute. I think Spots was having her meet some kitty pet friends of her for some easy training. Snakepaw was also getting closer to her brother Elkpaw as a kid, enjoying his quiet nature, but they have grown quite distant with how strict Elkpaw is acting. After that, we have the traumatized Bearpaw, who's 6 months old and a lonesome cat, and is the play fighter with an active imagination. Now, Bearpaw was the one who was attacked by rogues trying to save her father's body, and now she likes to be alone, not wanting to talk about what happened and bottles up her emotions. She doesn't get along well with her mentor Minnow because of this and is currently upset about and already feeling behind. She needs some luck to make it through things. Yeah, that's about it for Bearpaw. The apprentices sections are pretty short because they're only 6 months old, so sorry about that. For Bearpaw. Bearpaw is also grieving her dad and is mentored by her other dad, Mormark. She is 6 months old, a loyal cat, and a mossball hunter. She understands why Mormark was distant and forgives him and is excited to build a relationship with her other father while she still has him. She did a good job in a border patrol, for one, by having a civil encounter with Adderclan's leader, but other than that, she's probably the least interesting of her litter. We finally have Silent Clash, who's 89 moons old and retired early due to how bad her leg and joint pain is. She was offered by Loudstar herself, hating seeing how Silent Clash had to painfully limp around camp, and Speckle noting how strangely she acts. She begrudgingly took the offer, regretting her injury that negatively reshaped her life because she's been really mean throughout the year. Even before retirement, she was stealing prey from Voidwalker and complaining a lot about patrols and board spots. I think it's because the pain in her leg is making her a grumpy cat. Clash hates board spots more than anything, but oddly enough, she tried to convince her to run away together. Though only I think this might have been a joke or some kind of plot, since Borge felt a sense of dread afterwards. And Silent Clash also began thinking Mark was really annoying right after. He was getting close to board spots, but Girl will not stop fighting with board spots, and I like to think she has bullies board spots for a collar because she was meaning to her after the event. She also hates kids because she has a sense of dread when the kittens are old enough to wander around and ask for stories. She was upset with Link's kids catching her climbing too high and finding it annoying to deal with, and when she was sick with White Cough, she was jealous about Snake Kit's fur and complained about Elk Kit playing pranks on them, growling at them like, "Girl, handle yourself, they're just babies." But yeah, it's inside Adderclan. Now for the outside world, which I have been playing other clans and live streams to flesh out the world a bit more, and so we're going to go over what's been happening in there. As the leaders, we have Loudstar, of course, of Adderclan. We have Adderstar, a Python clan, who just got rejected by his deputy. Mousestar of Cobra Clan, a clan of 5 cats, including herself, and yeah, due to the snake prophecy, most that people think Cobra Clan will be the first to die out. And then finally, we have the happy, shameless Pouncestar of Boa Clan, who's happy to have the biggest clan at the moment. Moving on to deputies, we have the strict Youth Speckle, and we have the wise Sunhell. Then we have Frog Speck, who's strict. We have the adventurous Tawny Tail, which is my favorite out of the bunch. Now finally, for Midcats, we have our Lynx Pod, the charismatic Jungle Pod Python Clan, the cold Brookpelt of Cobra Clan, who's sick with water-filled lungs. Then we finally have Boa Clan's strict Bubbling Pelt and the shameless Growth Pod. Yeah, there's been a lot of med cat deaths lately, so hopefully that's a trend that does not keep happening. That about wraps things up. Please join the Discord server link down below. We have a lot of fun in there, and with that, goodbye.